Welcome back to Rhinos Productions. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a cutting board. It's a beautiful day. Let's get started. So basically, I'm going to be making a bunch like this. So this one has mahogany, walnut, leopard wood, and maple, and then it's mirrored on the other side. We're going to use the woods that I have available to make cutting boards that look like this. I'm making these cutting boards today due to a challenge put on by my college. It's called the Hometown Challenge. So let's get started, make the cutting boards. Alright, so we're going to use these woods that I have available, which is mahogany, maple, cherry, and walnut, and we're going to cut them into more manageable pieces due to the fact that these are really long, and then we're going to cut them into tiny strips and we're going to glue them up in some cool patterns. Let's get started. If you're going to be doing a lot of things that throws dust everywhere, like a lot of repeated cuts, make sure you wear a face mask. Okay, so I have the main bodies for the cutting boards all set up. I'm going to put some strips in here for the maple, and then for the mahogany I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then we'll put strips in there to add a design. I think you guys get the idea. It's going to take a lot of cutting on the chop saw and a lot of cutting on the table saw. So I'm going to finish cutting up the little tiny strips and I'll show you the design afterwards.
A few moments later.
So I finished up the maple design. It's maple, walnut, cherry, walnut, maple. Now I'm going to go finish gluing them up, and then I'm going to start working on the mahogany design. So I want to explain something to people that have never woodworked before. So this is wood glue, right? And it's specifically designed to glue pieces of wood together. It's in the name. Here's how it's used. You get the glue, you put it on the wood.
And you want to put this glue in between each piece of wood on your cutting board. A good thing to note is that it's okay to have too much glue, but it's bad to have too little glue. Something to note is that this wood glue, if used properly, actually makes the joints between the wood stronger than the actual wood itself. It's pretty amazing stuff. So now we have glue between each joint. We're going to clamp it, and that'll allow the glue to set and bond the wood together. So now there's something on here called glue squeeze out. And that glue squeeze out means that you have enough glue and there won't be any gaps in your joint. We have to let this set for at least an hour before we can take the clamps off, and then we have to wait overnight until we can do anything else to this board.
Well, I finished gluing up these maple ones, so now let's go to the garage and finish making those mahogany ones so that we can glue them up in here. Alright, so as you can see, I finished the design for the mahogany boards, so now I'm going to glue those up, and then I'll see you tomorrow. It's the next day, and we have all 6 of our cutting boards glued up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put them through the planer. So I have them all planed down, so now let's go to the miter saw and trim the sides. So we have the edges trimmed, and now we're gonna go and we're gonna sand the corners so that they're round. Okay, so I made this template. Basically, you snug it up on the corner, you take your pencil, and you draw it around. And then when we go to the sander, we'll sand that down. The corners are sanded, now let's route the edges. Alright, so this right here is the router. So there's this bit in here that spins very, very fast in this direction. And then these blades will cut the wood to this contour. So this is called a roundover bit. And it's gonna take all the sharp edges on the cutting boards. See, this is a sharp edge. And it's gonna round it over. Right? There's the rounded edge. And the sharp edge. So now we just have to round off all the edges on all the other cutting boards, and then we get to sanding, and we're good to go. Two down. 4 more to go. And the best part, sanding. Now with sanding, you want to go through the grits all the way up to 220. That's usually what people recommend for cutting boards. So we're going to go to 220. I'm going to sand all the way through, just try to make it all the rough surfaces nice and smooth so it feels good to the touch. These will probably take about 2 hours to sand, so cue the high speed.
A few moments later. Later that same evening.
I've been in this mess too damn long. We finished the sanding. Here, I'll show you. There they are. I finished those. As you might know by now, my favorite part, putting the oil on. Here we go. So this video was a little bit more of a how-to. Let me know if you guys like the more how-tos or me just building stuff. If you have any questions about anything, please just leave a comment down below or contact me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Cutting boards can be very easy to make. You can really just get a slab of wood, sand it, put some oil on it, and call it good. My university challenges students to find ways to help our local communities. I'm going to sell these cutting boards and ask for donations. I'm going to take all of the profits from the cutting boards and all of the donations and buy gift cards from local restaurants or stores that were hurt by the current pandemic. I'm going to take those gift cards and I'm going to give them to either people or families who deserve them or who need them or who are in financial crisis. So really, it's a win-win-win-win. The consumer gets a win for getting a cutting board and for donating. The local restaurants get a win because I'm buying gift cards from there. And then the families or the people in need / are deserving get a win because they'll get a $100 gift card to a local restaurant or store, and I get a win because I was able to bring happiness and bring change to the community. My goal is just to raise about $500 in hopes that I can get at least 5 gift cards out to families, each at $100. Also, I know I just put out a cutting board video, but this is for charity, so don't be mad, otherwise you're a bad person, alright? The thing about cutting boards is that people love them and they sell very well. So I decided to make another video showing how I batch them out. The other one was a giant one, I only made one of them, but this one, I'm batching out. The rule of thumb with cutting boards is if you're gonna make them, batch them out, because the more you batch them, the more efficient it becomes. I appreciate every single one of you guys, whether you're subscribed or not. I appreciate you watching me throughout this journey, and as always, it's a great day for a great day. Have a good one, you guys.
Little quick tips about cutting board care. So, I made this one about 3-4 years ago, and it goes over our sink like so. Right, so now we can do chop, 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 and put stuff in, or put stuff in a bowl, or do more chopping. Compared to the new ones that we just made, this one looks faded, it looks chalky. Alright, so when it starts looking chalky, that's when you want to put on cutting board oil. What is cutting board oil, you may ask? Cutting board oil will penetrate into the wood and help prevent water from getting in it or making it look ashy like this. The thing about wood cutting boards is you can cut anything on them. Problem is that if you cut raw meat on it, then you're going to want to wash it with some dish soap, which is totally fine, but dish soap is designed to get oil off. And oil is what you need on the cutting board. So generally, you want to reapply. If you're just using it as like a serving board, then you don't really have to reapply the oil unless you start seeing it get really faded. After you wash it, or with dish soap, then you reapply. Now you can also get some sandpaper and sand it all up and make it look all nice again, but this one isn't that bad. It's just getting really ashy because it's been a while since we've reapplied some oil. The oil is in my shop.
Before you make it, like, you know, retirement.
There we go. Cutting board care with Ryan.